Hi YouTube, I'm tolissanylon and I have oily combination skin and it gets greasy. Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is tolissanylon. If it's your first time here, welcome, and if it's not your first time, welcome back. As you can see by the title and by that weird intro, I have oily combination skin, which is not super common. There are lots of people that have it, but it's not super common. So this video is essentially, I'm going to show you how I've basically learned to apply foundation to my own skin and make it last. I realized that having oily skin, it can be very slick. It can be like overly dewy, if you want to call it that. And sometimes primers make it worse. They just dehydrate the skin, which cause it to pump more sebum, and before you know it, you've got greasy skin, which I have definitely suffered from. Having worked in the club for so long, I used to go in there with a beat face and leave with a grease face. So I'm going to show you the steps, and if you're interested in learning how to deal with the grease on your skin, then keep watching. So first things first, you have to make sure that you prep your skin. Make sure it's moisturized. I know as oily or oily combo skin people, we think that we don't necessarily need moisturizing because that might make it worse. But the truth is, when you don't have moisture in your skin, it dehydrates it, as I have been learning the hard way, and it makes your skin even more oily. Now, me having oily combo skin, I'm basically oily in my T-zone area, and then I'm oily all over. So I'm pretty much super greasy. It's weird. I can't even explain what this means or how I figured out that I have oily combo skin. I just know that my skin doesn't react the same way that oily skin does. Now, when I say oily combination skin, that means if you're oily, you have oily all over, and if you're oily combination, then you're kind of between grease and greasier. I can't really think of a better way to explain it. So, what tends to happen with my skin, at least, is that it's very textured. So with the grease and the texture, I just have a hard time getting foundation to really adhere to my face the way that I want it to. A lot of times it tends to kind of like smudge, or I'll start putting the brush on and you'll start to see that suddenly there's foundation there, now there's not. I've had a lot of muddy days where I'll put makeup on and it'll just look gross. So first things first, make sure that your skin is moisturized. My skin is moisturized right now with this. This is the, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, the Henriksen Oil Control Hydrator. It's supposed to balance the skin. I actually just purchased this, so I might be doing a review on this shortly. But I just purchased that, and it's actually been doing a really good job with keeping my skin hydrated, but not overly hydrated. But I do tend to get oily, I do tend to get dry in my smile lines and around my nose. So what I like to do is put on a second hydrator in those places. Right now, I'm using the Dr. Brandt Mattifying Hydrator. I actually just got this as a sample from Sephora because I was looking for something that was hydrating, that wouldn't make me look too shiny, and they recommended this to me. So I'm gonna show you guys. It's blue, right? And it dries very like clear, and it dries matte. So I put that on my dry areas, and it's really good for kind of blurring out the pores. I know we hear the word blurring out a lot, but it really does soften your pores without makeup. So just imagine with makeup. So I do that first to make sure that I don't neglect any areas that could potentially get too oily. Now I'm just patting that on. And what's so nice is I can immediately feel the hydration. It's crazy. Like, it feels like a burst of water into your skin. It feels really, really good. So I'm definitely going to be purchasing this, and I recommend it if you feel like your skin's really oily but you have certain parts of your face that just for some reason are kind of dry to dehydrated. Second, make sure that your under eyes are hydrated. I mean, that's like the last place that you want to crease, and I know what it's like to just be like super oily everywhere, and then you look under your eyes and you've got like that caked up like creases under the eyes, and a lot of times that comes from like you either have dry under eyes, maybe you over baked your eyes. So whatever the case is, let's make sure we hydrate our eyes. So I like to hydrate my under eye with the Ole Henriksen banana cream. I know a lot of people tend to neglect this step, moisturizing under the eye before putting makeup, but I mean it's really essential to making to creating like that flawless finish. I feel like when I started moisturizing under my eye, I totally noticed the difference. I mean, I don't want to say it's a game changer, but it is. Now that we've got our face moisturized, it is ready for primer. The primer that I recommend using is the Milk Hydro Primer. I actually just got put onto this. I know that it's becoming like really popular. I typically don't listen to when people with dry or normal skin say that something is good for their skin because I know that it won't work for me. But I like that it's hydrating because I do tend to have very dehydrated skin, which I'm sure is why it gets so oily. So this helps to keep my skin balanced so that I don't get that greasy look after many hours of wearing my makeup. So let's just put some of this on our face. And I mean, you know, as with most primers, I say place it in the places that you know you tend to get the most greasy. In my case, it's everywhere. Really like pat it into the skin. Now, I used to powder, I used to set my primer, and I actually stopped. At least with this primer I don't, because I feel like it creates like patches. So with certain primers I think that's okay, but with this one, I mean, I honestly don't recommend it because I just don't like the patchiness that it creates. I feel like this is sticky and it's supposed to be sticky, and you don't want to get in between that adhesion. I hope I said that right. Now that our face is nice and primed, it's time to go in with concealer. I'm going to be using 330 Pro Filter by Fenty. Believe it or not, I'm a little late to the Fenty game. I did Trophy Wife, and that was the only thing I had for like a year, and I finally was like, you know what? I really need to get this foundation because Rihanna has oily skin, and chances are when she created her product, she obviously had oily skin in mind, and I'm greasy, so I need this. So I don't know if you're new to makeup or if you're not new to makeup, but what I recommend is starting with a little bit at a time. Treat your face like it's a canvas. When a painter paints, he starts with a section at a time. Obviously, if you're a pro at doing makeup, you know, you might feel like you can go a little faster, and that's cool. But I noticed that I get the best coverage when I really take my time going section by section. This is not a full coverage foundation, so that's why you see me going over with it twice. And then once you finish one section, move on to another section. Also, please blend your makeup. I'm just really tired of seeing people kind of have like this, what looks like a mask around their face. Next, let's prime our eyes. So right now I'm using Born This Way in the shade Honey. This is basically the same color as me. I did not pick this color. I let the Sephora people pick it. But what's nice about this is that I've noticed that double layering, sometimes it adds a highlight and hydration. Does that make sense? I like to do it twice because I feel like you're less likely to crease once you start to set it. I don't know what the science is behind that, but I noticed that for my skin type it works. So let's start to highlight under our eyes. Then I'm just gonna blend it out with my beauty blender. Trust me when I tell you, you do want something that's hydrating under the eyes. You don't want the opposite. I know that you think that you would because of the fact that our skin is oily, but under your eyes will definitely give away your age. And if you look crusty, flaky, and dry under your eye and then greasy all over your face, it's gonna look like a greasy old grease ball. Now I'm gonna go in with my second highlight. I'm gonna use the LA Pro Concealer in medium beige. I'm just gonna put a little bit, if it'll come out. Oh, this is on its last days. Okay. Ah. I'm also going to highlight. I'm not going to do any major contouring in this video. I really wanted this to be more focused on just foundation, highlight for our skin type. So I'm gonna blend. Like I said, take your time. Your face is a canvas, remember. Blend. Don't leave fingerprints on your face like I just did. I know we're looking a little dewy under the eyes, and that's why now it's time to set under our under eye. I don't recommend baking. So FYI, you guys, blend well. I just sat here and tried to bake, and then I realized it wasn't fully blended. Big mess. Anyway, I'm back, and now we're going to try this again. So we're going to not bake, but press powder under our eyes, like I originally said we were going to do, and for some reason I didn't do that. And yeah, so I'm going to be using Airspun to set under my eyes. So I'm going to take this much and just press it under my eye. I don't want to let it set too long because then it starts to look weird and I don't like it. Press. I'm considering doing a contour video like this too, where I show how I get my contour to stay in place and not, like, you know, slide off of my face. So if that's something you'd be interested in, please let me know in the comments. Even if you don't, I'll probably do it anyway. But it would be nice to know that some people are interested in that. So it's already pretty well set, but I'm just gonna press a little more powder in there. Great. Now that our eyes are set, let's set the rest of our face. I'm going to be using the Fit Me Matte Poreless and 332 Golden Caramel. I used to set my face in Airspun, like my entire face, but I have like little peach fuzzies, and I feel like they would show, and then I would be forced to take this step anyway, and I'd basically just be covering up white and then sometimes adding powder and then another pressed powder on top of it, used to just kind of dry out my face, and then it wouldn't necessarily keep me from getting shiny later. You know, if anything, it would just speed up the process. So well, this is the final face, and this is just, don't want anybody thinking this is like the set look. This is the start for what comes next. This is the start for the contour, the eyes, the eyebrows, whatever steps you go in. This was just the starting point, and this is pretty much what I do to get my makeup to last a few hours. Like it'll last me like a good 8 hours of working. So if you really enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If it was helpful to you, also give it a thumbs up as well. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more things like this, please comment below. Maybe you could recommend some products to me that you know are good for really oily combo skin. I'd appreciate it. I'm always down for trying new products. If you're not subscribed yet and you liked what you saw, please subscribe. I'm going to be doing more videos like this. I do tend to do little chit-chatty videos, but there's definitely more makeup help. I'm not a guru. Definitely more makeup help to come. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good night, good morning, wherever you are. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next time.